Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to another daily dice where we ask the dice for a message and find out what that is. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey, this channel, this ever-growing tribe. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for anyone that is new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. With that being said, today we are getting a message from the ancestors, actually the message that you need right now. So ancestors of highest light and love, what is the message my fellow humans need right now? Ancestors of highest light and love, what is the message that they need right now? Okay, thank you. Okay, and on the bottom of the deck, we have the Be an Open Channel, Mediumship, Ancestors, and Spirits. And I feel like this is just confirmation that they are coming in and for you to open to receiving the messages that they have for you today. So with that, ancestors, what is the message that my fellow humans need right now? Ancestors, what is the message they need right now? Ancestors, what is the message they need right now? Okay, so we've got the fourth house, we've got Capricorn energy, and we've got Mercury. It's been hard. This has been difficult. That's what I heard. This has been difficult. It's been difficult for you to honor your family lineage and your roots and to really connect with your ancestors, maybe because you've had difficulties with your family. Right? A lot of hardships with your family, a lot of rigidity or them following very traditional roles. And it's like, how can I connect with ancestors when everyone in my family is very religious, or when everyone in my family is atheists, or when everyone in my family is, you know, XYZ, whatever it is, enter in there. And it's like, you're asking me to connect with my ancestors and they want me to connect with them. But how do I do that when all I've known is my family lineage being what it is? And that's not something that we do. And they're saying that that's okay. Just because that's something that people before you haven't done doesn't mean that it's not, like you're not capable of doing it. They want you to trust that you can connect with them, to be that open channel, right? To be that open channel here and to really see what it is that they're trying to bring forth to you. And some other people, you might be afraid to connect with your ancestors in that way. But the message that you need right now is that you're looking for guidance and you're looking for answers. And in order for you to receive those answers, that it's necessary for you to tap into that wisdom that resides within each and every one of us, right? It's not just certain people who can connect with ancestors. Everybody can do it, right? But not everyone is as advanced as everyone else, or so on and so forth. And not everyone struggles with it, or not everyone has this. And it doesn't matter. Like, everyone has a different part of their journey that they're on. And we can't focus on that. If we focus on the fact that, like, you're watching me, right? If you're watching me as a tarot reader and you're like, oh my gosh, she's so good at channeling. How could I ever be that good? The first thing that you're doing is comparing yourself to me. And as a psychic medium myself, I've done this very thing. And it keeps you from channeling the messages that you need to hear from your guidance team, because you're saying, I'll never be as good as whoever it is that you're seeing who is doing it for a living. But that's not the point. You are as good as you need for yourself. And you need to stop comparing yourself to someone else who is guided to become, you know, someone who led other people in this way. It doesn't mean that you won't. It just means that we need to start somewhere. I had to start somewhere, right? I didn't just step up into this massive gift one day. I was led to it, and through being led to it, I've faltered, I've failed, I've fallen flat on my face. I've had to go through transformations to get to here, to understanding, to trust the intuitive notions, to trust the guidance that I received. Here we see this is something that you struggle with because of that rigid thinking from the past, because of those doubts from the past, because of those burdens that were placed on you by family members from the past. It's hard for you to communicate clearly with the Mercury energy here. And they're saying that you have the ability to connect connect with us, and we're just waiting for you to connect with us and to trust what it is that we're giving you. We're trying to help you out on your journey here. No one's mad. I don't want you to feel like, oh, they're mad at me. Or no, absolutely not. You know, the divine realm doesn't get mad at us. They don't judge us. They're not over here like treating us like humans, because that's not what they are. They're the spiritual realm, and they're in a much higher vibration than we are. And they're trying to come through with this voice of love. And sometimes love is tough, right? Like, because love is honest and pure, and it's not what we want to hear. It's what we need to hear. And I feel like that's what they're trying to remind you of, is that sometimes we're going to give you answers that you need to hear, right? That's what this message is, what you need at this time, the message you need. So we're going to give you messages that you need to hear. And sometimes you're going to feel like we're being mean, but we're not. We're saying it with the utmost love. But because our emotional egos are so fragile, it's our emotional ego that's taking it like a hit. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that they would be so cruel to me. Like, how could they say something like that? And that's not at all. They're not trying to do that. So we've got the 5 of Wands in the reverse with the 8 of Swords clarifying it. And this is interesting energy, because this is like a refusal to change. So I feel like for some, there's a deep fear here of connecting with anything in the spiritual realm. What if I connect with demons? What if I connect with low vibrational entities? What if I do this? Or what if I become possessed? Or what if that? Okay, first of all, we need to recognize that we are much stronger than we are giving ourselves credit for. And anytime you connect, you can set the terms. Like, I wouldn't just jump in and say, okay, spirits, come and connect with me. I'm here, I'm ready, I'm open, I want to hear whatever you're saying. No, don't do that, right? Don't just be like, whatever you say, come in. Set the terms. Like, say, only spirits of highest light and love are allowed to come into me. Light a candle, sit with a notebook, and see what you receive. And if you're getting scared, then it's time to just walk away for a little while, right? Like, don't let that fear overrun you, because the more you step into this fearful place, that's when we can attract those low vibrational entities that just like to joke around, or like to be somebody that they're not, or like to lead us down a path because they can, you know. And it's like, it's scary because of Hollywood. That's what I just heard. It's scary because of Hollywood. Don't let Hollywood convince you that connecting with the divine realm is this terrible thing. And especially this month, if you're watching this in October, right? This month is like all about like really getting those heightened senses on fleet by scaring you and giving you the thrillers and giving you the horror movies and all this stuff. And so right now it can be really, really, really difficult. But with Halloween or Samhain, that's when the veil is lowered, and then we can even go even deeper, and we see other cultures, like with Mexico, with La Dia de los Muertos. It's like the Day of the Dead. That's when they are capable of coming beyond the veil and speaking to us, and that's all about celebrating our ancestors. And so right now is a really, really empowered time to speak with them. But yeah, right here, and this explains it all with the 4 of Swords here in the reverse. We see that the only reason that this exists, this stubbornness and this fear and this anxiety tied to connecting with anyone in the spiritual realm, is because of other people's beliefs and opinions on it. As I said, don't let Hollywood make you scared of your abilities to connect with the spiritual realm. You know, everybody's like, oh, well, so-and-so said it was a bad thing. Well, but so-and-so has not lived your life, and so-and-so is not living your life. So just because so-and-so said it's a bad thing, that doesn't make it a bad thing for you, right? And that's what we have to remember on this journey. Just because it's bad or wrong for someone doesn't make it bad or wrong for everyone. And sometimes it's really hard for us as a society to grasp, because we're in this place of saying like, oh, well, but is it an intrinsic right or is it an intrinsic wrong? I think that's a right word. Anyways, that's what was coming through. But they're saying it's like, you know, is it all good? Is it all bad? And it's like, there are ups and downs to the side of channeling with the divine realm. Of course there are. But you know what? I had this story. I don't want this to get too long, but I'm going to share this story with you. It actually happened earlier this week. I was on my phone, and a lot of times spirits like to really like mess with our electronics because they can mess with the frequencies on it. And so sometimes you'll notice your phone going wacko and stuff like that. And you can always ask, who is this? And I usually always ask, and I'll always get a name. It's so funny. They will always open my keyboard and give me a name. Like it's a physical thing that happens, and it is such a trip. And this last time, this spirit was trying to convince me that it was my grandmother from the other side. And I was like, oh, hey, grandma. But it felt so weird. I was like, this doesn't feel like grandma at all. I was like, no, hold on. And I said it. I was like, if you keep doing this, you're going to really irritate me. And I said that. And of course, those lower vibrational spirits, they're like, oh, okay, let me poke the bear. Let me poke. And they kept doing it. Finally, I was like, okay, you're not allowed to be here. And I called on Archangel Michael. I asked Archangel Michael to sever the tie. And I chased the spirit away by using my commands. Like, you're not allowed to be here. I command you to leave this space. You have no right being here. You have no right being around me. I don't know who you are. And I'm not asking, I'm telling you to leave. And then I went to Archangel Michael. I said, Archangel Michael, I ask that you surround me in your protective blue light and that you sever any cords between me and this entity. I ask that you remove it from this space and either send it back to sender, return to sender, or send this spirit to source energy so that they can be transmuted into the journey of light and love. And about 5 minutes after I was saying this, I just kept repeating it. All of a sudden, everything went silent. The energy dissipated. I felt the angel wings around me. I felt love being poured into me, and I knew I was safe. And that's why I feel like right now, your ancestors, for them to want me to talk about this, it's just really bringing that up. There's a deep fear that's at play here with connecting with them because of past beliefs. And I feel like this is family saying, like, maybe you grew up in a very religious home and they're like, oh, anybody who connects with spirits, they're talking to the devil, or so on and so forth. And so it's like using fear as a way to control us is not love. Right? Like, so we have to experience on our own. The flame is dancing right now, and the flame's on the card. Like, there's just this energy right now where it's like your spirits, your ancestors are here trying to give you these loving messages, but it's almost like you're afraid to use that guidance that they're giving you, or you're afraid to connect with them on your own because of beliefs. And see, we see this as a mental thing, right? The swords cards are connected to our psyche, our mental, our thoughts, our beliefs, are the patterns that are coming through here. And we see here with the 8 of swords that it's all a fear-based anxiety belief. And I don't want to change because that fear, this came out to clarify. Wow, if I could talk, this card. And sometimes it's hard, right? Like, sometimes it's hard to let go of these beliefs. Wow, do you see that? Both these cards flying out. And so we have water energy with Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, with spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. So we're trying to reconnect you with this deep compassion that comes within, and saying, like, even if so-and-so, just say your mom, that's just an example here. Just say, like, your mom was afraid of doing this and she poured that fear into you, like, oh my gosh, like, you're going to go to hell because you're talking to spirit guides. And this is just an example, okay? I'm just trying to paint the picture. But it's like saying that, and it's just saying to come back to that place of compassion here. It's saying, like, if that's her experience, then that's her reality. But that doesn't make it everybody's reality. Right? We are so much more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. And I'll never forget my mom. She used to tell me, right? We were Christian growing up. We were very Christian. And this was something that the men in our family did not agree with, was this talking to the spirit realm. My mom found out she was a very intense channeler later on in her life. And I remember when my brother passed away, he was bugging me in his room. We were packing up his stuff and he wouldn't leave me alone, and I knew it was my brother, and I kept telling my mom, I was like, Mom, Robert won't leave me alone. And she's like, Becky, tell him to go away. If you aren't comfortable with it, tell him to go away. And I was like, Mom, he keeps poking me. And she's like, because he was poking me in the side and he was just letting me know he was there. And this was before, when I was really scared about stuff like this. And so Mom, she came into the room and she goes, Robert, that's enough. And it stopped. And that impacted me in such a way because it was like so powerful. And she's like, all you have to do is tell them. And I was like, wow, Mom, I'm really glad that you said that. I've never shared this. It's so funny that I'm sharing it now, but it's just so random. But it's just, that's what they're saying. It's like, you have so much more power than you realize you do. You can tell them, I only want these spirits of highest light and love. And I know some people will try to convince you, like, that's not enough. Look, that is enough. That is enough. And if you're uncomfortable with it, then find a way that makes you comfortable with it. Ask your guides to give you messages in your dream. Ask your ancestors to give you messages in your dream. Pray silently if you're afraid that speaking out loud is what's attracting them. You see what I'm saying? There's all different types of ways, but there's all different ways to learn how to connect with your ancestors, and they really badly want to connect with you. We have House 7 here with profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. This is that saying, there is a mountain to climb here. It's not something that's going to come overnight, but we want to build this profound relationship with you so that you're not just lost in this realm anymore. Right? Not just wandering around like, am I ever going to figure this out? Am I ever going to have something that's going to happen to me that's good? Am I ever going to manifest the things that I want? They're saying, yeah, we want to get you there. We want to give you that guidance. You have to trust what it is that we're giving you too. If you're always in this place of fear, you're never going to trust the guidance and the downloads that you're receiving from the divine realm. Okay? And they're saying that when you trust this, when you let yourself be an open channel for that of highest light and love, from mediumship, ancestors, and spirits, even if it is scary, facing your fear will help you receive the guidance you never thought was possible. Yeah, we have the moon here. Satisfy emotional needs, nurture yourself and others. So we do see there's definitely an emotional connection to doing this. There's an emotional charge. That's what I just heard. It's an emotional charge behind it. This is like easier to go to people and see what they have to say, which is fine if you trust them, right? Like I always say, make sure you trust the people that you're watching, myself included. Make sure you trust the words that are coming out. Don't just listen to people willy-nilly. It's just make sure that you feel good, that you're resonating with that. And it's like, not everybody's going to say that because they're so afraid to lose people. But it's honestly, at the end of the day, I would much rather you resonate with these messages because they're meant for you. And if they're not meant for you, then leave it for someone else, right? Than to try to scare you into being something that you're not, because it's not at all what the spiritual realm is here for. Okay, and that is only through my own experience. So we have here, look, spirit guides. Wow. Insight, guidance, and purpose. Oh my goodness. So we even have your spirit guides coming in, not just your ancestors here, but your spirit guides. Let's read what this says. Okay, right there. Spirit guides. It says, the Lakota belongs to the Great Sioux Nation, a group of tribes indigenous to North America. The practice of, and I'm sorry if I say this weird, but it's Hunblekia, crying or questing for a vision, is central to Lakota people's spirituality. Before embarking on Hunblekia, the quester visits a holy man for guidance. The quester then encounters a sweat lodge and shares a sacred pipe with a holy man to cleanse their spirit. After prayers are sent to the Wankantanka, Great Spirit, the quester takes their sacred pipe and tobacco to an isolated place where they will where they will be alone without food or drink for 1 to 4 nights. The quester pays attention to the messages, signs, dreams, and visions from their spirit guides. At the end of the quester's time alone, a symbolic object such as a feather or stone is collected and kept in their medicine bundle. The quester then returns to the sweat lodge where the holy man helps them decipher the messages and signs so that they better understand their meaning. Your spirit guides are calling to you. They want to give you clear messages to help you on your true path. You may not be able to go on a traditional vision quest, but you can embark on a spiritual journey. Learn more about who your spirit guides are. Explore ways of communicating with them. Make attempts to hear, feel, see, and center spirit guides. If you are unsure of how to communicate with your spirit guides, meditate and ask for a sign about who your guides are, or ask for help from a spiritual friend or mentor. And then it says, it is the right time to connect with your spirit guides. You are ready now. Don't be afraid because your spirit guides are already guiding and protecting you. Pay attention to any object you feel drawn to, such as a crystal, rock, or feather, which you can keep as a spiritual talisman. If you find a special item, keep it safe and use it in your spiritual practice. Wow. This is so intense. Like, that card talks about everything that I was feeling in this reading. All the signs and the synchronicities were there. What they were communicating is very clear. They want to connect with you, but there's just this resistance that's coming through because of fear from people who've made you believe that maybe this is wrong, or maybe this doesn't exist, or maybe that they're evil or whatever, and that's so far from the truth. And you can ask them to give you loving, guiding messages. You know, real quick, I didn't mean for this to go so long, but real quick, one thing I will say is that, especially with my spirit guides, one thing, I'm that person that when they give me a sign, I always ask, can you confirm the sign that I was given? And they'll give me a confirmation for that sign. And I'm like, can you confirm the confirmation for the sign? And I'll do this like 5 or 6 times. And that was what helped me to connect with my ability. And I love that they came through to show the truth of this ability on this reading, which happens so many times. I'm not here, but I'm just saying, like, that's because they want you to know that they'll do that for you. Right? It took me a long time to trust this. It took me a long time to trust that the signs, the synchronicities, and things that were coming through were real. Because for a long time, I felt like I was crazy. I felt like, oh my gosh, like, no one is going to believe this. No one's going to believe what I'm receiving. No one's going to believe what's coming through. Like, but because I didn't believe it, why would anyone else believe it? So I had to ask them, help me believe, because I struggled very, very, very much at this in the beginning. Even though my mom was open to it, even though my grandma was open to it, there was still a lot that I grew up in where there were people outside of us who really forced onto us these beliefs and these ideas that were not ours to hold in the first place. And so who are you is the question that's being said here. Who are you? And what's it going to take for you to find out who you are to yourself and your journey alone? Because spirituality is a very personal journey. And if we let everyone else and their mom tell us what our spiritual journey needs to be, we'll never find out what it means to us. And that's so unfortunate, because when I finally let go of the idea of community religion, I was able to come into a place where I was able to find what worked for me. And sometimes that's scary because we want a community to support us, but there is a community on this spiritual journey that's more than willing to help support each other. So you're not going to be alone no matter what feels right to you. We shouldn't be here judging people for what it is that they want to believe in, or what it is that feels normal for them to believe in, or what it is that their soul resonates to believe in. Because the more that we do that, the more that we create separation, and the less that we learn from each other, from each other's experience because of those beliefs. If we allow each other to live their life as they feel and see fit for themselves, rather than being in this place of fear and anxiety, what your ancestors are saying is that you'll be open to a whole new world that you didn't know existed. So not only are your ancestors coming through, but so are your spirit guides, okay? So this is what I see here for you. I feel like the message was so important to get out. We don't have that many cards, but the message was so clear. If you felt like this message was yours, leave the little eagle emoji down below and say, I choose to rise above the limiting beliefs that were put onto me by other people or society. And I choose to find out what serves me and what feels right to me, because I deserve that. And if this resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find all those links in the description box in order to do so. You can email me for a personal reading. You can follow me on over to my podcast on Spotify at Scatter Love Radio. You can even join as a member, and I would love to see you on memberships. But if not, thank you so much for your continued support here. And with that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angels, source, my spirit guides, and a special shout out to the ancestors for coming through with this message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.